when a routine stop turns into a dangerous confrontation. Only one thing stood between a black man and injustice: the body cam. This gripping story reveals how the truth came out, exposing deep-rooted racism in a small-town police department. Watch as dignity, truth, and technology come together to rewrite the narrative. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that needs to be heard. Share this video if you believe justice must be seen to be served. It was a cool Monday morning in Redfield, Georgia, a small town with a long memory and a short fuse when it came to outsiders, especially those who didn't blend in. The air smelled of rain and exhaust fumes, a typical blend near the industrial district where delivery trucks roamed and silence rarely lingered. Darius Morgan, 33, was not an outsider. He'd grown up in Redfield. His mama, Dolores, taught at the local middle school. His father, Samuel, a Vietnam vet, had passed away years ago, but not before earning a Bronze Star and the grudging respect of even the most hardened racists in town. Darius had returned after graduating from Howard University and spending nearly a decade as a systems analyst in Atlanta. But even with all his credentials, Redfield didn't feel like home anymore. People still locked their car doors when he walked by. The grocery store cashier still asked to see ID when he used his credit card, even for a bag of chips. And the police? They never forgot to check who he was. That morning, Darius was driving his late father's Ford pickup, dusty but reliable. He was headed to meet a contractor at his mother's home to start renovations. His phone pinged with a text: running late. Be there in 20. Darius parked at a gas station just off Route 18 to grab coffee. That's when the trouble began. Officers Kyle Brennan and Jason Warner were in their patrol SUV sipping on drive-thru coffee, parked near the gas station. Kyle spotted Darius through the window, his face twisted into a sneer. "Check that out," Kyle said, nodding at Darius. Black guy, tinted windows, beat-up truck. "Wanna bet he's up to no good." Jason grinned, already adjusting his body cam. "Let's see if he has any outstanding warrants. Or if he's just another city boy trying to act tough." They pulled out, lights flashing, no siren. Darius had just walked out of the store, coffee in hand, when the cruiser screeched in front of him. He paused. For a moment, he thought it had nothing to do with him. He wasn't speeding. He hadn't even gotten back into the truck. But the moment Kyle stepped out, hand on his holstered weapon, Darius knew. "You!" Kyle shouted. "Hands where I can see him." Darius froze, placing the coffee gently on the hood of his truck and raising his hands. "What's going on, officers?" Jason circled behind him. "We got a report of a suspicious vehicle in the area. Matches this description." "I'm just waiting for someone," Darius said calmly. "License and registration." Kyle barked. "In the truck," Darius responded. "Driver's side compartment." "May I?" Before he could finish, Kyle grabbed his wrist, twisting it behind him. Jason shoved him against the hood. "Resisting now," Jason taunted. "I wasn't resisting," Darius protested, grimacing in pain. What they didn't know was that Kyle's body cam, recently upgraded as part of a federal accountability grant, had automatically started recording when he exited the vehicle. They cuffed him in broad daylight, in front of 3 other patrons at the gas station, 2 of whom filmed the incident on their phones, whispering nervously. Darius tried to keep calm, focusing on his breathing, the same way his dad taught him when facing unfair treatment. "Always live to tell the story, son. Don't let them take your dignity and your life." The officer searched his truck without consent. They dumped out his glove compartment, rifled through his backpack, opened his mother's renovation blueprints as if they were contraband. Jason chuckled. "What do you think, Kyle? Maybe he stole the truck. No way this guy owns a house on Cypress." Darius, still cuffed, replied evenly, "The house belongs to my mother. I'm renovating it. I have the deed and permits in the back seat." They didn't listen. Not until a black Mercedes-Benz pulled up 10 minutes later, and out stepped Raymond Ellis, the contractor. A white man in his 60s, beard like Santa Claus and voice like gravel. "What the hell is going on here?" Raymond yelled. Jason stiffened. "Who are you?" "I'm his contractor." I've worked with the Morgan family for years. This man is not a criminal. Kyle narrowed his eyes. We had probable cause. Raymond growled, and I'm calling my lawyer. It took 40 more minutes for Darius to be uncuffed, after Sergeant arrived and reluctantly admitted no charges would be filed. No apology, no acknowledgement, just a warning to be careful where you park. But Darius wasn't done. He filed a complaint with the Civilian Oversight Board. And thanks to a new law passed statewide, all body cam footage was now reviewed automatically in incidents involving use of force or detainment. What came out next shocked the public, but not Darius. The footage clearly showed that Darius complied. Calm voice, non-aggressive, hands visible at all times. It also showed the officers escalating the situation without just cause, their mocking tone, the unwarranted search, the unnecessary cuffing. The footage leaked, and the town erupted. In the weeks that followed, Jason Warner resigned under pressure. Kyle Brent was placed on unpaid leave pending investigation. The police chief issued a carefully worded statement about training and procedural missteps. But Darius, he didn't fade into the background. He took the opportunity to speak at community forums. His story went viral, not because it was unique, but because it wasn't. It had happened to too many. Too often. Only this time, the camera didn't lie. And for once, the system had no excuse to hide behind. This isn't just about one man's dignity. It's about a system built on the assumption that black men are threats until proven otherwise. The body cam saved Darius, but it should never have come to that. Technology should never be the only witness to protect truth. Real change requires accountability, not just from the lens of the camera, but from the heart of every officer, judge, and citizen. Until then, stories like Darius's will keep being told, because silence is never an option. The town of Redfield wasn't used to attention, especially not national attention. But when a local ABC affiliate aired the bodycam footage and national blogs picked up Darius's story, the town found itself in the eye of a storm. Overnight, Darius Morgan's name was trending. Interviews flooded in. So did messages, some supportive, some filled with hate. Redfield was split in two. One half finally saw the rot they'd long denied. The other half was too proud, or too racist, to care. Kyle Brent and Jason Warner became infamous. Though Jason had resigned, Kyle was still clinging to his badge like a lifeline. The police union tried to spin the narrative, claiming the officers feared for their safety and were merely following protocol. But the footage said otherwise. The video didn't show fear. It showed ego. It showed power abuse. And it showed a calm, unarmed black man treated like a criminal for existing. Darius wasn't looking for fame. He wanted justice. Real justice. He hired civil rights attorney Kendra Lewis from Atlanta, a sharp, relentless advocate with fire in her eyes. She knew Redfield's legal system well, and its weaknesses even better. Together, they filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the Redfield Police Department, Kyle Brent, and Jason Warner for unlawful detainment, racial profiling, and violation of Fourth Amendment rights. The lawsuit rocked the town. Local businesses started quietly backing away from the police department. Some officers voiced anonymous support. But behind closed doors, Darius and his mother received veiled threats. Anonymous letters that a flat tire, a slur spray painted on the sidewalk outside his mother's home. Still, Darius stood tall. "Let them come," he told Kendra. "This isn't just about me anymore." 6 months later, the courtroom was packed. Media lined the hallway, reporters scribbling notes and snapping photos. Darius wore his father's old navy blue suit, the one he was buried in. The jury was diverse, a rarity in Redfield. The trial was swift, but not without drama. Kendra presented the footage in full. Asterisk the officers profiling Darius from the car. Asterisk their aggressive commands. Asterisk the illegal search. Asterisk Darius's calm and compliant demeanor. Asterisk their mocking words as they rummaged through his things. Asterisk the moment they cuffed him for doing absolutely nothing wrong. The defense tried to paint Darius as defensive and potentially threatening. But every time they tried, the footage contradicted them. Then came the witness testimonies. Raymond Ellis, The contractor testified, "That man is one of the most respectful clients I've ever had. If he was white, we wouldn't be here." Even a few gas station customers came forward. "He wasn't doing anything," one woman said. "He looked like he was just trying to get home. I started filming because I could feel something wrong happening." The turning point came when Kyle Brent took the stand. Under cross-examination, Kendra asked, "Why did you assume Darius Morgan was suspicious?" Kyle stammered, "Well, he matched the general description. And, the area has a reputation." Kendra paused. "What reputation? Poor? Black?" Silence. The jury was listening. After 2 days of deliberation, the jury ruled in favor of Darius. $2.5 million in damages, a written apology from the Redfield Police Department, and, perhaps more importantly, mandatory racial bias training across all departments countywide. Kyle Brent was stripped of his badge. Jason Warner, already in hiding, was barred from law enforcement indefinitely. The police chief who tried to sweep it under the rug retired weeks later. But Darius wasn't finished. He used part of his settlement to start a nonprofit, Body Truth, advocating for transparency and justice through technology. They work to distribute body cams to underfunded communities and educated citizens on their rights during police encounters. He spoke at colleges, at rallies, on podcasts, but he never let the story become about his pain. He turned it into purpose. 1 year later, Darius stood at his father's grave, holding a single rose. "I kept my head down, Pops. I breathed like you taught me, and they still cuff me. But you know what? The truth had a witness, and this time it spoke." Behind him, his mother watched silently. Later that night, he received an email from a police officer in Kansas. It read, "Your story saved a kid in my town. I used your footage in training." Officers saw it. One of them admitted it made him rethink how he sees young black men. "Thank you. Racism doesn't always wear a hood. Sometimes it wears a badge. But accountability doesn't always come with riots or revolutions. It can come with truth, with courage, with a body cam." Darius Morgan didn't just survive a racist encounter. He transformed it into a catalyst for change. Because when truth is eyes, lies don't stand a chance. Join us in shining a light on injustice through real storytelling. Subscribe now and be part of the movement.